How does M3gan have such an overwhelmingly positive score on Rotten Tomatoes? It even has some pretty high scores on Metacritic. It was popular enough amongst teenagers for the creators to already be working on a sequel lazily titled M3gan 2.0. M3gan is what I would call a bad movie. The story is basic, the acting isn't good, the characters are unlikable, the themes are heavy-handed, it isn't directed well. M3gan is a stupid movie. I was smirking throughout, but it only made me laugh out loud when the doll started singing. Suddenly we're in a Disney movie.
Just reach out and you'll see a friend is never very far.
There actually isn't very much gore at all for people who are looking for pure spectacle. The whole movie is about how we shouldn't let our kids spend too much time on screens, that we shouldn't let AI replace parenting. This theme is reiterated through every story beat. The movie starts off with a young girl losing her parents because she's playing with what is essentially a Furby in the car. If you don't remember Furbies, they were actually banned by the NSA. I remember when I was a kid we had one and I would sometimes hear it making noises in the toy chest. The parents had always wanted to take their daughter on a skiing trip, but they never heard of putting chains on their tires in the snow, so 86 the parents. The young girl is now being raised by her Aunt Gemma, who is not interested in raising a child, so she creates an AI to do it instead. The parents of the deceased father have offered to help, but it's explained through dialogue that they live in Florida and they're kind of weird, so obviously that would never work. Also, Gemma doesn't seem to be mourning the death of her sister at all the entire movie. Maybe her insistence on using a coaster is some kind of deferred trauma. Gemma has built a fully functional AI robot named Bruce in her home, but somehow still struggles with her job as a toy maker. When she's running out of time for a presentation, we see her job consists of cycling through palette swaps of a children's toy. The movie pokes fun at her for being a grown nerd who owns collectibles. What a loser.
It's just that this is not what it was designed to do. It does other things.
Ronny Chieng plays Gemma's boss. He basically does his routine from The Daily Show. There's not really any acting going on. Gemma creates an AI doll called M3gan, which wows the investors when it has the ability to record audio and repeat it back in a demonstration. Everything about the story is dumb. The best part is halfway through the movie when M3gan makes an obnoxious bully character run into a car. It's pretty funny. The movie tries way too hard to be serious with character development and themes. It's filled with attempted sentimental moments which are ineffective at creating emotion, and it's hard to decide how much of this was meant to be taken seriously. M3gan is reminiscent of *Malignant*, which was co-written by Akela Cooper and James Wan. Though Wan's involvement in M3gan is less significant, he's not a director here, merely a producer. I don't care for the Conjuring franchise, but I enjoyed *Malignant* as a campy giallo film. At least it had that scene where the killer took someone out by throwing a chair across a room. The kill count here is low. M3gan kills the neighbor and her barking dog, which are more likable characters than our two leads.
I swear to God, if you don't put your dog down, I'm gonna do it for you.
Later, she impales Gemma's boss and a guy who is trying to steal M3gan's code, and the movie ends very predictably with a battle between Gemma and M3gan. They're trying to hide the fact that they're fighting as though they're a dysfunctional family. The scene from the trailer where M3gan does a little dance before killing someone led me to believe that this film would be much campier than it was. At times, it's trying to be a serious horror film. At times, it's a comedy. Sometimes it's schmaltzy, heavy-handed messaging about parenting in the age of AI.
If you make a toy that's impossible to let go of, then how do you ever expect a child to grow?
When you think about cult classic horror comedies, it's a bad movie, but it's not entirely a bad time. There's at least some humor to be found in the writing and acting, but the fact that this movie received such praise is proof that we've collectively lowered our standards for entertainment. Filmmakers can make a movie knowing that it's trash, and critics will praise it for being so bad it's good. Well, M3gan is so bad that it's bad. As a horror movie, it's not scary. As a family drama, it's not moving. And as a comedy, it's only mildly amusing. M3gan's name is inexplicably spelled with a 3, which must be some kind of cosmic sign that this movie is a 3 out of 10. Take into account that I'm not really into killer doll movies. Even the Child's Play franchise has never been that interesting to me. Skinamarink is a unique film with a lot of critical buzz around it. It has almost no budget, minimal dialogue, is filmed mostly without actors using the sounds of voices accompanied by shots of light pulsating over Legos and public domain cartoon footage, and it's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's what I would call a nearly unwatchable film. There's not really a story or characters, it's just grainy footage of empty rooms. After long periods of looking at nothing, a jump scare will happen, some loud sound will occur, or an image will flash on screen, and then it's back to staring up at the ceiling from the viewpoint of a terrified child. I watched this movie at home on Shudder, so maybe the theater experience is different. It was really hard to keep from falling asleep. It has sort of a trance-like effect with its long silences and atmospheric footage, and then it shocks you with a distorted scream and a flash of light. Skinamarink is told from the perspective of two children awake at night in a house where all the doors and windows have disappeared. They whisper to one another with sound quality so intentionally bad that we often need subtitles to understand what's being said. There's a deep, scary voice saying disturbing things like, "I took her mouth away." Some of the most memorable scenes are when doors appear and disappear out of nowhere. There's focus on a creepy children's toy phone. In a jump cut, the eyes move. There are a few key moments in the story that stand out amidst all of the static images. 13 minutes in, a man is talking on the phone about someone falling down the stairs and hitting their head. Towards the end of the film, one of the children dials 911 and tells the operator that they've hurt themselves. If you scrub through the footage of the movie, there's engaging imagery to be found. A blood stain appearing and disappearing, a house standing in the middle of an endless void, but without a cohesive narrative, Skinamarink ends up a series of scattered, creepy visuals stretched out into a feature-length film. At one point, the words 572 days flash on screen. That's about how long it feels watching this movie. Skinamarink is an ambitious film. It feels like a 1960s art house movie. The imagery is straight out of a bad dream. The film works on a subconscious level. Its atmosphere will probably put you to sleep. If you can make it all the way through this film, then you're incredibly patient. The director of Skinamarink, Kyle Edward Ball, got his start making YouTube videos that recreated people's nightmares. I would appreciate this film a lot more if it were a short film. The feature-length runtime isn't justified, but it's an interesting premise where the meaning is up to the viewer's interpretation. This could be a story about a demonic entity threatening a family, or it could all be a metaphor for child abuse. This is a film I would not recommend to most people, but I would also say that it's noteworthy because of its experimental approach. It's not something I love, but I appreciate it, so I'm going with a 6 out of 10. It's polarizing for sure. I found it unsettling, but also boring. How long can you stare at the corner of a door frame with a light flashing on it just to wait for a scary face to appear on screen? This might satisfy fans of the Paranormal Activity movies. You probably won't miss anything if you spend half the screen time scrolling through your phone.